Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Sodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Sodanandana Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Vishnupad Pranamahangsa Parijakacharya Asacha Shishima. His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Prem Sigaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopinatha Samakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shiva Navadam Ki Jai, Shri Maya Purnavadam Ki Jai, Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Jamuna Maya Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Go Premanandi, all glorious Sama devotees, all glorious Sama devotees, all glorious Sama devotees, all glorious Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. So today is the disappearance day of Mahesh Pandit and Uddharana Datta Thakura. So let's see if we have something here. Mahesh Pandit, 111. Mahesh Pandit, the seventh of the 12 gopalas, tasting Krishna prema, used to dance like a madman to the sound of a huge kettledrum. Especially dear to Shri Nityananda Prabhu, he traveled and preached with the Lord. He established deities of Nitai-Gauranga, Radha Madana Mohana, Radha Govinda, and Gopinatha. In Vraja he serves Krishna-Balarama as a cowherd boy, Mahabahu. His samadhi is in the 64 Samadhis area. I'm sure there's a lot more information if we don't have it. Not Uddharana Datta Thakura. Uddharana Datta Thakura, a dvadasa gopala, lived in Saptagrama, a cluster of 7 villages. Krishnapur, Nityanandapur, Vasudevapur, Shivapur, Bansa Bediya, Sahanagara, Saptagram, and Saptagram. Raised in luxury within a family of gold merchants, he later married and worked as a wealthy state minister. The place where he once held office is today called Uddharanapur in his honor. Lord Nityananda would often stay in his home and accept food from his hand. Performing Prem Nam Sankirtan in Saptagram, Lord Nityananda delivered the entire community of bankers and gold merchants. Lord Nityananda is very merciful. Uddharana Datta said that Saptagram is such a holy place that simply by seeing it, one is freed from all sins. When he was 26 years old, his wife suddenly died. He left everything to associate with Shri Nityananda Prabhu and preached the glories of Krishna's holy names. He personally installed and worshipped deities of Sad-bhuja Mahaprabhu, Shri Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhara Pandit. He serves the Lord Balarama as Shubhahu Saka in Vraja. His samadhi is in the 64 Samadhis area. After glorifying Uddharana Datta Thakura as an exalted devotee of Shri Nityananda Prabhu, who worshipped him in all ways, Krishnadas Kaviraj praises all of Shri Nityananda Prabhu's devotees. Quote, No one can count the unlimited followers of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. I have mentioned some of them simply for my own purification. As branches of Lord Nityananda's tree, these eternal associates are full of the ripened fruit of Krishna prema. They gave these fruits to everyone, flooding them with pure love of God. These devotees have unlimited strength to give eternal, unalloyed love of Krishna. They can offer anyone Krishna prema. And now, Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 10, text number 25. Na Vikriya Vishwa Suhrit Sakhasya Samyena Vithabhimates Tavapi Mahad Vimanat Svakritad Di Madrin Nangsyati Uddharana Api Shulapanihi Na Vikriya Vishwasuhrit Samyena Vitab. Let me get this right. Na Vikriya Vishwasuhrit Samyena Vitab Himidates Tavapi Mahadvimanad Swakritad Dimidrin Nangsyat Yadhorad Abhisulapanihi Navikriyas Vishwa Suhrit Samyena Vitab Himates Tavapi Mahadvimana Swatkritad Dimadvin Nangsyat Yadhorad Abhisulapanihi Navikriya Vishwa Suhrit Samyena Vitab Himates Tavapi Mahadvimanad Swatkritad Dimadvin Nangsyat Yadhorad Abhisulapanihi Kriya Vishwasuhrit Sakasya Samyena Vitabhimates Tavapi Mahadvimana Samitavimami Nangsyat Yadhorad Abhisulapanihi. Suhitsakasya Amyena Vitabhimates Tavapi No, not. Vikriya, material transformation. Visvasurit, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was a friend to everyone. Sakhasya, of you, the friend. Samyena, because of your mental equilibrium. Vita avimate, who has completely forsaken the bodily concept of life. Tava, your. Api, indeed. Mahat vimana, of insulting a great devotee. Svakritat, from my own activity. He, certainly. Madrik, a person like me. Nongshiti, will be destroyed. Adarat, very soon. Api, certainly. Sulapanihi, even though as powerful as Lord Shiva. Sulapani. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O my dear Lord, you are the friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the friend of all living entities. You are therefore equal to everyone, and you are free from the bodily conception. Although I have committed an offense by insulting you, I know that there is no loss or gain for you due to my insult. You are fixed in your determination, but I have committed an offense. Because of this, even though I may be as strong as Lord Shiva, I shall be vanquished without delay due to my offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Purport. Maharaja Rahugana was very intelligent and conscious of the inauspicious effects arising from insulting a Vaishnava. He was therefore very anxious to be excused by Jad Bharat. Following in the footsteps of Maharaja Rahugana, everyone should be very cautious not to commit an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur in the Chaitanya Bhagavatam, Madhya Lila 13 says, Sulapani sama yadi bhaktananda kare bhagavata pramana tatapi sagrihe mahe hena Vaishnava rera ninde sarvagyaha sajja nara adha pata sarva sastrikai. Wasn't the right measure, but anyway. Even if one is as strong as Lord Shiva, who carries a trident in his hand, one will nonetheless fall down from his spiritual position if he tries to insult a Vaishnava. That is the verdict of all the Vedic scriptures. He also says this in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya 22. I don't know what meter it is. Oh, he's sleeping. No, I'll just read the English. One who blasphemes a Vaishnava cannot be protected by anyone. Even if a person is as strong as Lord Shiva, if he blasphemes a Vaishnava, he is sure to be destroyed. This is the verdict of all Shastras. If one does not care for the verdict of the Shastras and dares blaspheme a Vaishnava, he suffers life after life because of this. Thus end the Bhaktivinoda purports of the 5th canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Discussion Between Jad Bharat and Maharaj Rahugana. Om Jnana-tamarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Taksham Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukram Kurtuvatalam Pongam Nonghayate Gurim Yat Kripa Taraham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Vanchakapatibhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pabhanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So here it says Krishna is Vishva Suhrit, is a friend to everyone. Imagine being a friend to everyone. It'd be so nice, huh? And he has unlimited friends. That'd be also amazing to have unlimited friends. So this is Krishna. Krishna is he's very friendly. And a devotee is also very friendly because of his being a devotee. And when I was distributing books yesterday, I was thinking how the devotees that are distributing books are the best friends of the people, because they're given an invitation for them to see their best friend, Krishna. It's actually, these books are invitations to the spiritual world, where they can meet their best friend, the best friend ever, Krishna. So here, Maharaja Rahugana, he's glorifying. He says, "Oh my Lord," my Lord. That's pretty. He's really had a change of consciousness, from his previous mentality. You're the friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the friend of all living entities. So this is the position of a devotee. When one becomes very sincere devotee of Krishna, one becomes the friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now in this world, unfortunately, people are envious of Krishna. Practically everybody that comes to they're envious of Krishna. So the purpose of this bhakti marg, this bhakti process, is to remove this envy and again have this loving relationship with Krishna. So Maharaja Rahugana, he made a big mistake, of course, in offending Jadbharat. Now generally people, they offend devotees for two reasons. One, because they're envious of devotees. And two, simply because they have a big false ego. So that was the situation here with Maharaja Rahugana. He wasn't envious of Jadbharat, but he had this false ego. He was a king, and he used that power to override people and insult people, which he did with Jadbharat. But he found out, within a short time, that actually that was a big mistake. So he asked for forgiveness, and now we're going to hear this wonderful discussion, this dialogue between him and Jadbharat. Now, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's examples of people that offended devotees out of envy. Just like there's one person called Ramachandra Khan, who was very envious of Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur, he was a Muslim, but he was getting so much respect, much more respect than Ramachandra Khan was getting. So he didn't like that. So he arranged for a prostitute to go and make him fall down. So this prostitute agreed, and he said, "All right, when you go there, I'll have someone there to catch him with you, and we'll let everybody know." She said, No. First let me have union with him. And then, so she went there in dead of night, looking very attractive. We shouldn't think about how attractive she was. Very attractive. Showing her different parts of her body, trying to attract him. And she says to him, "Oh, Haridas, you're so young and handsome, and I'm so attracted to you. Please, can you satisfy my desires?" And he said, yes, no problem. Just let me finish my rounds here." And he had a lot of rounds to chant. We chant 16, and it's hard. He was chanting, about 192 or something, 300,000 names a day. Imagine that. So he said, "No problem. Let me just finish my rounds here." So she was waiting and waiting and waiting. And then she thought, well, this it's not going to work tonight. It's, she had been there practically over, who knows how late it was. So then she left. But before she left, she said, "Oh, Haridasa said, I'm sorry, I couldn't satisfy you, but I have these rounds. I have a lot of rounds to chant." She said, "All right. So, but you come tomorrow, and I'll satisfy you." He said, "Okay." So she came the next night, and she's there waiting and waiting and waiting. And he's chanting and chanting and chanting. And she becomes a little restless. And he says, "Well, sorry, I've taken a vow to chant these certain amount of rounds. But tomorrow, please come tomorrow." She came the next day. And she's hearing, and she gets purified. And then she admits to him, "Actually, I had come here to pollute you." And he said, I know this Ramachandra-kan. I could have left immediately. I knew what he was doing. But I wanted to help you. So actually what she would do, whenever she would come to see her, she would pay obeisance to Tulsi Devi. And she would say, "Hari, Hari." So the pious prostitute, in India even the prostitutes are pious. So she said, "Now I just want to chant the names of Krishna. I've become purified by your association." So she became a great devotee. And Haridas Thakur said, "Whatever you have, you should give to the brahmanas. And you should chant the holy name incessantly." So she shaved up and she got a little cottage there and she just chanted. This is the potency of Haridas Thakur. But this, because of that offense, that enviousness of Ramachandra Khan, Lord Nityananda, he's omniscient, he knows everything, so he went. Lord Nityananda, he was going around traveling, so he went to I think it's called the Durga Mandap, where the wealthy people, they have these places. And so he went there and he sat there and he had his followers, of course. And Ramachandra Khan heard about that and he told the servant that, tell Nityananda to go, there's another place not far away, there's a cow shed, there's more space because he needs more space for him and his followers. So when Lord Nityananda heard that, he started laughing. And he left. And shortly after that, the government, it was a Muslim government, they came and they arrested Ramachandra Khan and his wife and the children, and the whole village there became deserted because of this offense, enviousness, this envy offense to Haridas Thakur and to Lord Nityananda. And he even actually, he told the people there, the workers there, he said, dig up the area where Nityananda was sitting and put some cow dung there, purify it. So offensive, imagine. So this is an example of offending someone because of envy. And there was another one, Shivananda Sain. Shivananda Sain was having these nocturnal kirtans with Lord Chaitanya and many other devotees. But the doors were closed because they didn't want, it's described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, they didn't want people to come there and make fun and just disturb the atmosphere, because people were envious of the Vaisnavas, chanting Harinam, like this. So there was one person who was the leader of the non-devotees, who put some worship for Durga outside of his door to make it look like he was worshipping Durga. He wasn't really a Vaishnava, he was worshipping Durga. So they put wine and vermilion and sandalwood, and so when Srivas Thakur came out of his house, he saw that, and he called all the gentlemen nearby, "Hey, look, everyone, I'm worshipping Durga." He didn't try to hide it or anything. And And then the gentlemen from neighbors came by, and they were just like disgusted. Who could do such a ridiculous thing, trying to, give Srivas Thakur a bad name? So he called the sweepers, and they took the wine and took everything away and swept it away. So the person who did this was Gopal Chapala. And 3 days after this offense, where he tried to give a bad name to Srivas Thakur, he got leprosy. His whole body got leprosy, and there was worms biting. And it was it's described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was experiencing so much pain from this leprosy, and it's contagious, so he has to go off in an area away from people. So Lord Chaitanya was walking by where he was, and he said to Lord Chaitanya, you're the savior of the most fallen, so I'm very fallen, please. I'm like your uncle in our relationship. He said, please, can you help me? And he said, you're going to suffer like this for millions of births because of your offense to Srivas Thakur. And then Lord Chaitanya went on. Imagine getting that news. Whew. So then Lord Chaitanya, he went to Jagannath Puri, and he spent some time there. And then so this whole time, this Gopal Chapala, he's suffering because of this offense. And then Lord Chaitanya comes back. And he says to Lord Chaitanya, please, Lord Chaitanya, have mercy on me. So Lord Chaitanya, he said, the only way you're going to be relieved of this suffering that you're experiencing is that you have to pray for forgiveness to Srivas Thakur. You should go and you should beg for mercy, beg for forgiveness for your offense. So he did that. And shortly after, the leprosy went away. It's amazing, what offenses can do. And you beg for forgiveness, and it went away. Amazing. So another time there was a Brahmana who also wanted to enter into these nocturnal kirtans, but he couldn't enter. The doors were closed. So when he saw Lord Chaitanya, he said, I'm going to curse you because you don't allow us to enter into the kirtan. Because you could see the mentality. It's because they became offensive. So he said, I curse you that you will never have material enjoyment. What a nice curse, huh? I wish I could have that curse. No material enjoyment. So Lord Chaitanya is very happy. Because they think that material enjoyment, this is the goal of life. So you see his mentality. He wanted to enter the kirtan, but he was thinking that, the goal of life is to have material enjoyment. And therefore he cursed Lord Chaitanya. You can't have material enjoyment. So it's kind of interesting. So these are examples of people that were offensive to devotees. Now, on the other side, there's devotees that were very friendly and very devoted to devotees. Just like the most amazing example, my favorite example is Jadu Thakur. Jadu Thakur was such a sublime devotee. He would get all the remnants of the Vaishnavas to get purified. And there was one instance where he went to the house of one devotee to give mangoes, and his plan, his scheme, his transcendental scheme was he would give mangoes to devotees, and they would throw the mangoes out the window, the seeds and the skin, and he would go and he would suck on the pit and the skins, in this way get the mercy. Lord Chaitanya said there's 3 things that are very powerful in this world. Anybody know what they are? No. Water that has washed the feet of a Vaishnava. dust on the feet of the Vaishnava, and the remnants. These three are very, very powerful. So he was getting all this. So he went there one time, and he brought this prasad to them, and he was praising Jadu Thakur. And Jadu Thakur was saying, oh, I'm just a Sudra, you're a great Vaishnava. But then Jadu Thakur, he started quoting verses saying how anybody who becomes a Vaishnava, is an exalted devotee. And this devotee, I forgot his name, he was very pleased to hear that. Kalidas. So he had a nice, time together discussing Krishna, and then he left. And sure enough, they had their mangoes. They threw them out the window, and then he went and without them seeing, he went and he got the mango pit and the skin, and he was getting the mercy. And he was such a great devotee that that pastime where Lord Chaitanya, he was doing the cleansing of the kundicha. So he was bathing the temple there, and water would come from his feet, but no one was allowed to get the water but Jadu Thakur. So 3 times he got the water that had bathed the feet of Lord Chaitanya. Imagine that mercy. And then after 3 times, Lord Chaitanya said, okay, that's enough. But nobody else could get that mercy but Jadu Thakur. So Lord Chaitanya is very pleased when devotees have a service attitude toward the Vaishnavas. So here it's mentioned that he was Mahat Vimanat, insulting great Vaishnavas. This is what he did. He was it's described Mahat Vimanat. But instead of being Mahat Vimanat, devotees are Mahat Sevam. Mahat Sevam Dvoram, Ahori Muktes. Tamo Dvoram Yositam Sangi Sangam. Mahantaste Samachita Pasanta. Vimanyava Surda Sadhava. So this is a devotee. Devotees, they want to serve the great Vaishnavas. And by serving the Mahats, the great Vaishnavas, the door to the spiritual world is open. This is how to open the door to the spiritual world, is by serving the Vaishnavas. And if you want to close the door, make it very difficult, practically impossible, is to offend the devotees. So we have to serve the Vaishnavas in whatever way we can. Not only serve the Vaishnavas, but serve the people in general. Just like this, our whole mission is to give Krishna to others. Just like today, we're going to have book distribution. It's going to be a great day for book distribution. This is a Friday before New Year's Day, so it's going to be Balboa Park and everywhere else, La Jolla. Everything's going to be packed. No one's working. It's an official holiday, so it's going to be a really wonderful day for book distribution and for Harinam. I remember back in the old days, about 4 decades ago, when we were distributing books, we would distribute books in the airport for like 7 hours, and then we would, on Saturdays, we'd go in our van and we'd do Harinam. We'd change our Dhoti and Kurta in the van, then we'd go on Harinam after book distribution for 7 hours, back when we were young whippersnappers. So, book distribution, Harinam, this is very pleasing to Prabhupada. So, and by pleasing Prabhupada, by serving Srila Prabhupada, this is the best service. And he said, if you want to please me, distribute books. So, Mahat Sevam Dvoram Ahori Tamo Dvoram Yositam Sangi Sangam. And the way to hell is by just engaging in sense gratification, engaging in activities that are just meant for satisfying the senses, and associating with people that are also just interested in sense gratification. So what are the qualities of these mahats that we're supposed to serve? Mahantaste samachita. They're equal towards everyone. Yeah. Just like one thing, amazing thing about distributing books at tables is that people come to the table that devotees would never approach. Just like in the parks, a lot of old people come. Sometimes 80-year-old people come. I mean, they're just like so old. They're like, maybe they had a few more days of living, They come, oh yeah, Bhagavad Gita, I always want to read the Bhagavad Gita. And they give a nice donation and take the Bhagavad Gita. So that's a nice thing about table book distribution. So yeah, everybody is a soul. Yeah. And another nice thing about the table book distribution, just yesterday I was distributing books and an Indian family came. And now I've learned the art of giving books to Indians. Now I tell them, so you have the Bhagavad Gita, right? They always say, oh yeah, I have the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so now you're ready for this. After the Bhagavad Gita, now see, that's by Krishna. This is about Krishna. Then I show them the Krishna book. And I show them the beautiful, some of the pictures are just so beautiful. What was that famous artist? Muralidhar. Gosh, he's just like, he was the best we ever had. Yeah. I showed them the one where Krishna's coming back from the forest and Yasoda's reaching and he's reaching. Oh yeah, this is it. I show them that one. I tell them this is my favorite picture of Krishna. And I ask them, who's the father of Krishna, who's the mother, and they get into it. And sometimes they have little kids there, and the kids just get completely attached to it. I close the book and they grab it, and they put it to their chest, and the parents can't get it away from me. So I tell them there's about 20 of these beautiful pictures describing the pastimes of Krishna. So yeah, they love that. So yesterday I ran out. I brought 4 of them. Usually I don't do 4, but now with this new way, a little thing to remember, I ran out after an hour and a half of all my Krishna books. They were going out faster than Bhagavad Gita, practically. So, yeah, this is something that is very pleasing to Prabhupada. Is this book distribution? So, Mahantas te samachita prashanta. They're very peaceful. Devotees are very peaceful, and people feel that. I remember I was in Miami and I had just joined, and devotees were reading the verses, and one of the devotees gave me a little nudge. Hey, read the verse. I said, well, I can't see. I had lost my glasses and I didn't bother. I was a hippie, so I didn't bother getting any more glasses. So they said, well, you should get some glasses. It'd be good. All right. So I called the optometrist there in Miami, and after speaking to her for a while, she said, "Are you a Hare Krishna?" I said, "Yeah." How'd you know? She said, "Well, you guys are all so peaceful." There's 2 million people in Miami. And she could tell who was a devotee because they talked peacefully. And after that conversation, I was thinking, boy, I joined the right movement. So devotees are peaceful just by this, association with the holy name and association with devotees. One becomes very peaceful, tolerant. We get these qualities by reading, and hearing the qualities of great Vaisnavas. So many wonderful qualities of great Vaisnavas in the books that we're reading. So that we eventually, gradually, we imbibe this. So it's so nice. Mahantaste samachita prashanta vimanyava. Doesn't become angry. Vimanyava. Prabhupada says in the word for word, when preaching Krishna consciousness, one does not become angry when they don't cooperate, more or less. Sometimes devotees, you get like that. You get attached to the results. Prabhupada said there's 2 things go very deep in the heart: attachment to the results, and sex desire. So when we're on book distribution, we're full on facing this, you know, sex desire, because the women are walking by. You gotta transcend that. I remember I was distributing books in Venice Beach, on the promenade there, and this lady came, and she was exposing herself quite a bit, and the boys would go by, and they're just like, you know, practically their eyes would like bulge out, kind of attractive. But then I was thinking that, but if you just take that first layer of skin off, it looks very attractive, but if you just take that, because they say beauty is skin deep, right? You just take that first layer of skin off, it's just going to be meat, you know, bloody meat. You know, it's just not. It's an illusion, you know. And also, you know, fast forward 60 years, it becomes just a bag, you know, just a bag of skin. You're just not, wrinkly, not attractive at all. So it's the illusion. It's the greatest illusion. Maya, the greatest illusion is that, of course, the man is attracted to a woman, and woman is attracted to a man, but this is the main illusion in this world. Yeah. So, what's that? Surya, a friend, yes, a friend to all living entities. So to be a friend towards everyone, that's not an easy thing. You have to be free of the false ego. Just like the king here, he had this false ego, so he wasn't friendly to anyone probably. But when one takes the Krishna consciousness seriously, then one sees the soul within everyone, yeah, part of Krishna. Therefore, it's not difficult to be friendly towards everyone. And this is a very important part of book distribution, is having very good sadhana, chanting our rounds attentively and reading. Then when you go out, then you're inspired. And it's easy to be friendly towards everyone. You know? It's such a nice activity where you can just, you know, be jolly and friendly towards everyone. You know, I remember before I joined, I prayed to God, please give me something that I'd like to do. Because they did some survey, they're like, I think 90% of the people that work, they don't like what they're doing. Only 90, Deities Prabhu says. They're working to pay the bills, you know. It's not that they like what they're doing. So I wanted to be in the 10%. Actually, my brother, my atheistic brother, had something to do with my becoming a devotee. Because he said, don't stick with anything you don't like. So I thought, well, that's a pretty smart thing to live by. If you don't like it, stop doing it. Because it actually, it disturbs the life airs and the mind, and one becomes stressed out. And so if you do things for a long time and you don't like doing it, it disturbs your life. So book distribution is just such an ecstatic activity. Sometimes I'm on book distribution and I'm smiling so much that I got to massage my mouth. Yeah, I got smile muscles. And it's a nice problem to have. Yeah, you got to massage your smile muscles. So that goes on to my book distribution stories. Today's the last day of the marathon. I think we had a pretty good one. We definitely did better than last year, right? We definitely did better than last year. So this is a story about Mr. Wong. Mr. Wong. In Australia, one devotee distributed a Bhagavad Gita to him. He gave $20, and he appreciated it. And about a week later, we got a letter from him. And it was a letter with a $6,000 check in it. And this is for the spreading of Krishna consciousness, appreciation. So Ajita Prabhu, he's the temple president there in Brisbane at the time. So he sent this devotee that had given him the book to his house. The address was there, so he went and he gave him some gifts. And the person, Mr. Wong, appreciated it, but he was living with his parents still, and he appreciated the books, but his parents didn't appreciate it. So he said, "Thank you for coming, but better not come. Well, maybe we can meet some other way or something." So then he sent $8,000, sent another check, and then Ajita Prabhu he was so surprised and happy. So he called him up. He left his phone number. So he called him, "Please come to the temple. We have a nice gift for you." So he gave him the Srimad Bhagavatam set and the Chaitanya Charitamrita set. And then Mr. Wong gave another donation, another $8,000 for the spreading of Krishna consciousness. So eventually he got initiated. But actually, before he got initiated, his father found out that he had given all this money, like over $20,000. So he wanted the money back. Yeah. So after he expressed to Ajita that we'd appreciate if you give that money back. My son was not in good mental condition to do such a thing. Actually, he was in great mental condition to do that. But then Ajita got news shortly after that he had gone on a business trip, and on his business trip he had gotten in a plane crash and died. Yeah, the father. So the donation stayed. Krishna wasn't pleased with that move, I don't think, of the father. So yeah, he did so much service. So there was another devotee. He in Australia also. He was in the university in medical. He was in medical school, and he got a Bhagavad Gita in the library there, and he liked it so much. And then he went to find if there was any other books that were similar, and he found the whole Srimad Bhagavatam was there. And he started reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. He just loved it. And he found out where the temple was, and he decided that on his school break, the Christmas school break, he got about 2 weeks, he would just go to the temple and he would just read. He would just read. So he went to the temple, and as soon as the devotee saw him, "Hey, can you help me out here with the garden?" So he ended up helping him all day long with the garden. But he liked it, the devotee was preaching to him, and he was a nice devotee. So he had a very good time, and eventually he got initiated, Antardvip. And he said that while he was acting he became a surgeon. Yeah, and he was given a lot of money to the temple. Surgeons, they make so much money. But he said eventually he just got disgusted. He said it's just sophisticated carpentry. Cutting and sawing. Literally they had to use saws and So eventually he gave it up, and now he's one of the main persons that works with the TOVP. Yeah, very, very nice devotee. And there's one instance of a good friend of mine, Daru Brahman, in 1977. Daru Brahman, yeah, from Miami or from Florida. He's in Florida still, yeah. So he was in the bus station there in New York City, and his first time he's from New Jersey, so his first time he was there, and one devotee approached him to distribute a book to him. And he was very, very friendly. He was impressed with how friendly he was. But when he asked for a donation, he didn't want to give a donation. But still, he was impressed. So then, about 3 years later, 4 years later, 3 or 4 years, he was in Florida, and again the devotee was presenting a book to him. Again, he was very friendly and personal, and he was like impressed. Boy, these people are so nice, So he asked the devotee, he didn't get a book. Do you guys have a center around here? Or He said, yeah. So he gave the directions to the temple. He went to the temple there in Gainesville, and he didn't leave. He didn't leave. He got initiated, Dalai Brahma, but he didn't come because of reading. Just by the demeanor, by the kindness of the devotees, he was convinced, this is what I want. Amazing. So he was distributing books one time in Miami, and he approached one lady to distribute a book to her. And she said, okay. So she only gave him $1. And he said, well, you know, we try to get a little bit more for the big one, and he had a small, can I give you a small, can I give you a smaller book and take the book? She said, no, you gave me this book. So she took the $1 back, and she kept the big book, and she walked away. So he was thinking, no, man, you know, he stole my book, you know. So then, fast forward 15 years. He's in Los Angeles temple, and he goes to the gift store, and this lady sees him. She says, did you ever distribute books in the Miami airport? And he said, yeah. He said, it's you. You distributed a book to me. You remember I gave you $1, and you wanted to take the big book back and give me a small one? I took the $1 back, and I took the book too? He said, yeah, I remember that. She said, well, I read it and I became a devotee. And she said, I became a book distributor. She distributed many books. So he was thinking, I don't ever heard it. He was thinking, oh man, look at that, she just stole the book from him. But as one devotee said, Tripurari used to say, lucky thief. But actually, when we present it like that, we're not selling it. We're just offering it to them. You know, they can give a donation or not. It's like now we have these books that are being sponsored, and it's so nice, isn't it? If they don't have money, we give them the whole Bhagavad, you know, big Bhagavad. We give them the whole Bhagavad Gita. Keep it. Then I give them SSR also, because Tara gave $2,000 for SSR's distribution. So people are giving so much money. So we're letting them. It's so nice to let them go if they don't have money. It's a good feeling. You know? So this reminds me of another time a devotee was distributing books in Atlanta airport. And he offered the book to this person, and the person just grabbed it and walked off. And, oh, well, we tried to get a donation for it. He said, if I like it, I'll give you a donation. I'll send you a donation. So he walked off. And the devotee was thinking, oh, the guy just stole my book, you know. But then this person became a big devotee. He became a GBC member. Balavanta. That's how Balavanta joined. Balavanta, he was a GBC. He was actually, Prabhupada was so happy with it. He was running for, I think, mayor in Atlanta. He's a wonderful devotee. He's still doing service. He's a lawyer now. He's still doing service. Parama's he's working with Parama, you know, Parama. Yeah, he's working with, so he's still doing nice service. But he, you know, devotee thought, oh, he stole the book. You never know. And he said, if I like it, I'll give a donation. He gave his life. He gave everything. That's very, very nice. I was walking with Jayadvaita Swami in the Brooklyn. We had that big temple there that some people tried to take from us that we got back. So we were walking chanting japa on the street there, down the street from the temple. And this police car pulls over. And the driver gets out, says, hey, what do you got to give up? Become a Hare Krishna. And immediately Maharaj said, you got to give up suffering. I was so impressed. I was like, wow. So the cop said, all right, hey, that sounds good, all right. And Jayadvaita Swami says, and if you're interested in learning more, our temple is just down the street. You can get some books. And they said, all right. So there's two of them. So they, you know, turned around, went over. We got back from the japa walk, and the devotee said, yeah, these two policemen, they came and they bought a bunch of books. That's Shakti. Immediately, Jayadvaita Swami said, you have to give up suffering. You want to become a Hare Krishna, you got to give up suffering. Amazing, huh? I was distributing books in Santa Barbara. And I noticed this person sitting down, he's reading, not a book, but a portion of a book. And I thought, well, that's unusual. You know, someone's reading a portion. So I went over and I glanced over his shoulder. This is Bhagavad Gita. It's a portion of a Bhagavad Gita ripped out. So I asked him, how do you like what you're reading? He says, this is amazing. I was walking down the street and I saw this portion of a book, and I thought, well, I like to read. Let me check it out. So I've been reading this for about an hour. This is amazing. And I said, well, you know, I have the whole book here. He said, no, really? Are you serious? Because I'm reading it, I'm thinking, boy, it'd be great to have the whole book. Yeah. So of course, he gave a very nice donation. I got in contact. So someone had bought the book, didn't like it, you know, probably maybe it's a Christian or something, ripped it up and just threw it around, and this guy just happens to, you know, pick it up, and this is incredible knowledge here. Yeah, there's someone's name on every book, right? Who would think that person's name would be on a portion of a book, just a portion of a book? There was an instance of a devotee who was distributing books in Amsterdam. And he was distributing all day long. And he only distributed 2 books. I mean, that's like, imagine that, Govardhan Prabhu. Imagine going out all day long. You're out there for 5 hours, 6 hours, 2 books. So he was thinking, oh man, I must be in Maya. 2 books. They've never had some like that. Never happened to me before. But he gets back to the temple, and one of the books that was distributed, the person that got it was there at the temple. And he was shocked. You got a book from me earlier? Yeah, it's a great book. I was reading it. I wanted to come to the temple. I saw the address in the back of the book, so I wanted to come. So he was so surprised. Never happened before. So then he got some more books. And then this devotee, he went back to the temple again after distributing books for some time, and he found out that this person had moved in. He had become a brahmachari, became a devotee. So you can't judge by how many books have gone out. You know, and another time, this lady, she was distributing books in Uruguay, which is right next to Australia. She's from Australia, but she just let me go in there and distribute. And she tried so hard, only distributed 1 book, but he became a devotee. That's amazing. Huh? Her name was that was Uruguay. Yeah, South America. Yeah, 1 book, and that 1 book became a devotee. That's 100% success. So maybe there's one question. It's a little late. Yes,
I have a question.
Uh-oh. All right, we have some inside questions here. Vijay Krishna.
Yes, I can wait. No problem.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Vijay. I just want to announce that our Bhakta Dimitri, he made a goal of 1,000 books to distribute, and he actually did it yesterday.
Haribo! He already,
Haribo.
and today, he's got 1 more day, so maybe he'll do 1,100. Do another 1,000. Yeah, he made a vow to do it, or he wanted to do that, 1,000 books, so very good. This is his first marathon. Next year, double it, 2,000. Yes, Bhakti Daniel.
Thank you, Vijay Prabhu, for a wonderful class. Your Sankirtan stories always uplift spirits in the room. But my question is, I'm going on books, and I listen to what you say, every no is closer to a yes, and that every book has a name on it, and I love that, and that keeps me motivated. But sometimes, on books, you start distributing books, right? And you're on this positive groove, you're getting books out, and if not getting books out, you're still just happy, just being there, and that's usually how I am. But then after a certain point, it kind of goes down, that kind of drive, oh man, Like even if I get books out, it's kind of just like stop. So how do you keep the positive mood just always, increasing or just making?
You got to pray to Krishna. Book distribution is all about prayer. You got to keep praying. Krishna, please help me to be an instrument. Help me to help these conditioned souls. They need you. You got to keep praying. And a big thing on book distribution is you're happy. If you're starting to go down, then that also, the face is the index to the mind. They feel that you're going down, and they want to reciprocate with people that are happy, and so it's being happy out on book distribution is very important. Be jovial. And people want to reciprocate if you're happy. Oh, this person is so happy. If I get this, maybe I'll be as happy as him. Yeah, and if you dance more, then you'll start dancing on book distribution. But yeah, so that's a natural result of practicing Krishna consciousness, is that we're happy. So to be jovial on book distribution is also very important. Okay, Vijay Krishna, you're on.
Yes, Vijay Prabhu, thank you very much. You're very kind. Prabhu, the quote from the translation related to 5:10:25 is as follows. Quote, "Because of this, even though I may be as strong as Lord Shiva, I shall be vanquished without delay due to my offense at the lotus feet of a Vaisnava." End quote. So, Prabhu, my question is, why is it that the spiritual strength of a devotee resides in the offering of service by this devotee to the other devotees?
The spiritual strength?
Yes, the spiritual strength of a devotee, it seems, in accordance with this quote, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the spiritual strength and the spiritual advancement of a devotee resides entirely in the offering of service by this devotee to the other devotees. Why is that?
Well, spiritual realization and the power of spiritual life it's overwhelming, actually. One becomes so strong, just like Prabhupada. He was so spiritually strong that he spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. At 70 years old, I mean, this is unheard of. So this is an elderly person. Yeah, it's unheard of. Just like there was in one magazine, there was a Life magazine, I think it was, people that became millionaires, successful after the age of 60. And Prabhupada was one of them. But actually, Prabhupada was after 70. He might have been the only one after 70 because of his spiritual strength. I mean, you can't. There's no limit because the soul it's very powerful. Wasn't it said that the soul is more brilliant than the sun? And the soul, the uncovered soul, is very powerful and could do amazing things. I mean, book distributors, we experienced that also. Just Krishna makes it was supposed to actually. What happened yesterday was amazing. Yesterday, it was like 70% percentage of rain. That was the percent. It was supposed to rain, and we didn't even go out because we just thought it was going to pour all day long. But come lunchtime, 12 o'clock, not a drop of rain. It was supposed to be pouring. So I thought, all right, let's go out on book distribution. And the whole day, not one drop of rain. And I was thinking, well, Krishna just wanted this marathon to go on. But I spoke to a devotee here that had just come down from Santa Barbara, and he said it was pouring down rain until he got to San Diego. And then it was just completely sunny, not a cloud. He said it was too bright. So I was thinking, wow, Krishna just made it. Actually, it was supposed to be raining the whole week. But then it just, Krishna there was one day we got kind of rained out a little bit. It was only one day. So Krishna just, just that wind, Krishna could just, just that wind just blow those clouds away. So by the desire of devotees, Krishna makes all kinds of arrangements. So the more we connect to Krishna, the more we become very powerful. So that's the key. We have to connect with Krishna. Dvadasa Prabhu, yes. Yes.
The word that kept coming to mind with this question, your answer is the Shakyavesh, is that Krishna is the more pleased Krishna is with you because of your service attitude and because of your service and glorification of the devotees, which is, I think, where his question was, then you become empowered. The power is all coming from Krishna.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada was so surrendered and so sincere, is constantly praying that Krishna empowered him in amazing ways at this old age, and to do so many things fell into place. The time that he came was just perfect. If he'd come, materially, if he'd come earlier, you wouldn't have all of that, the hippies and all the thing going on, it would have been, materially, it would have been different. So they arranged the time, but Brahmananda once pointed out that the laws were changed just before Prabhupada came, so that Indians could come and have an easier time of staying in the country.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we have a flood. I mean, all of this immigration and everything, and you're filling up, in California. Wow. Same since the beginning of the 60s, or before it was much more difficult. So that's the answer, is that if you're really pleasing Krishna by your attitude, by your prayer, by your glorification of devotees, service of devotees, then you'll be empowered to do amazing things.
Yes, Dravida Prabhu, but even in the case of Srila Prabhupada, if I may say it, Srila Prabhupada was not offering direct service to Krishna. He was trying to please his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta. So this aspect of offering service to the spiritual master, who is a devotee, is a key factor now.
But Krishna says, I'm more pleased when you serve my devotees than when you serve me directly. One who claims to be my devotee is not my devotee. One who claims to be a devotee of my devotee is my devotee. That's the verse like that. All right, we need to end.
Exactly. Thank you very much for a wonderful answer to my question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vijaya Prabhu.